Award-winning director and producer Sanjay Leela Bhansali was assaulted by fringe group Karni Sena members in Jaipur on Friday. The incident unfolded on the sets of the director's upcoming film Padmavati. Director Sanjay Leela Bhansali has now cancelled his shoot entirely and has apparently changed the location of the film as well. The fringe group's leader, meanwhile, has put up a brazen defence of the assault. Here's a detailed report.
Award-winning director Sanjay Leela Bhansali slapped his clothes torn by fringe group Karni Sena in Rajasthan on Friday.
उसकी तैयारी कर रहे थे हम विरोध के लिए पता लगा कि साहब जयगढ़ में भी ऐसा कुछ.
And a day after the shocking assault came a brazen defense of the hooliganism. The fringe group cried misrepresentation of history to justify their assault.
I am going to condemn the role of Sanjay Leela Bhansali himself and the crew members who provoked us. 16,000 women died with Padmavati, and you are trying to show that lady opposite to Alauddin Khilji. How the thing is possible?
यहाँ आके विदाउट परमिशन वो शूटिंग कर रहे हैं और हम उनसे बात करने जा रहे हैं तो हमारे ऊपर फायर कर रहे हैं, फिर वो पिटने का काम नहीं कर रहे हैं तो क्या कर रहे हैं?
Meanwhile, the film fraternity is backing Bhansali. Padmavati's lead actors Deepika Padukone and Ranveer Singh say there is no distortion of the characters they portray. However, historians have a different take on Queen Padmini.
Whether director Sanjay Leela Bhansali agrees to the terms laid down by the Rajput Karni Sena or not is something time can tell. He has decided for the time being to stop the shooting of the movie Padmavati and decide on his future course of action.
आज जो जयपुर में घटना संजय लीला बंसाली के साथ हुई है वो बिल्कुल गलत है. किसी को ये नहीं पता कि इसमें क्या छेड़छाड़ की.
And while the Rajasthan government assured strict action, the Karni Sena dared those backing Bhansali to show their outrage face to face. From Karan Johar to Ashutosh Gowarikar to Anurag Basu and now Sanjay Leela Bhansali, all have faced the wrath of fringe groups. The onus is now on the administration to crack down on elements who use violence to make their demands heard and protect our artists from these self-proclaimed defendants of our culture and history. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, just days ahead of the UP polls, BJP President Amit Shah has released the party's manifesto in Lucknow. The Samajwadi Party, however, has accused the BJP of directly lifting several key SOPs from their own manifesto. Here's more.
The BJP released its manifesto ahead of the big UP polls. In its 9-part Sankalp Patra, BJP has attempted to woo the youth and rural folk with freebies ranging from free laptops and internet to interest-free loans for farmers. But what was once its central agenda in the state, the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, only received what seemed like an honorary mention.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बनने वाली सरकार भी संवैधानिक तरीकों से जल्द राम मंदिर बने इसके लिए प्रयत्नशील रहेगी.
But the BJP's manifesto elicited a shocking allegation from the ruling SP. It's a cut, copy and paste job, claimed the Samajwadis.
Copyright laws are there and they have violated and planning to take advantage of this. Samajwadi Party will register a protest FIR. Why steal our manifesto? Because what is there in our manifesto and what they are mentioning, we have already done.
But does the SP's accusation hold any water? A cursory glance through the two manifestos is enough to show that the central promises are not much different. Freebies to women, hands out to students, a promise of round-the-clock power and SOPs to farmers. Even the Congress and BSP hit out at the BJP for not fulfilling the promises it made in 2014.
कि बीजेपी को अपने लोकसभा चुनावी वायदा खिलाफी करने के बाद अब उत्तर प्रदेश में हो रहे विधानसभा चुनाव में इनको अपना चुनावी घोषणा पत्र जारी करने का कोई भी नैतिक अधिकार नहीं रहा.
Initially believed to be leading the race, the BJP is facing stiff competition from a united Congress and Samajwadi Party. It remains to be seen if BJP following the Samajwadi path hurts its chances. With Balakrishna in Lucknow, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, the assembly elections in Punjab are just around the corner, and political parties are banking on the major drug menace in the state to pin down their opponents. As the Congress and AAP launch scathing attacks on the ruling Akali Dal, the Badals are on the defensive, claiming that there is absolutely no drug issue in the state. Well, it remains to be seen who rides high in the drug-infested state in the upcoming polls.
Widespread addiction of drugs, blatant use of intoxicants, a menace which even inspired a Bollywood film. The deadliest weapon in the opposition arsenal against the incumbent Badal government. The drugs problem is particularly acute in the border state, with official figures putting the number of drug addicts at more than 2 lakh. Nearly 7,500 crore goes down the drain because of drugs every year. 1,23,000 are addicted to heroin, one of the worst addictions.
पूरे पंजाब को इन्होंने नशे ने बर्बाद कर दिया। कई पिंडों में मैं गया, पूरे के पूरे पिंड बर्बाद हो गए। मैं बहुत घूमा हूँ पंजाब में, पूरे के पूरे परिवार बर्बाद हो गए।
कहाँ गया वो पंजाब जो जाना जाता था ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन के लिए, आज वो चिट्टे की वजह से जाना जाता है। नाम ही खो दोगे तो किधर जाओगे, और पहचान खो दोगे सिद्धू तो बिखर जाओगे।
What's worse for the Badals is the reported involvement of top Akali leaders in the drug trade. The Badal government has been attacked not only for turning a blind eye to the problem, but also patronizing the trafficking of drugs. Fingers have been pointed at several cabinet ministers of Punjab.
तो ये एक प्रोपेगेंडा है, जो प्रोपेगेंडा पंजाब को बदनाम करने के लिए पहले कहते थे पंजाबी अतवादी हैं। कौन से अतवादी हैं? सबसे ज्यादा हमारे आदमी मारे गए, फिर कहते हैं ये नशेड़ी हैं।
As Punjab goes for polls in less than 2 weeks, resentment against the drugs problem will be a decisive factor, with several reports suggesting that at least 40% of the youth in the state are addicted to drugs. It needs to be seen that in the drug-infested state, who finally ends on a high. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, a week after announcing their alliance, Rahul Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav will finally be seen together in one platform in Uttar Pradesh's capital. The new chief of Samajwadi Party as well as the vice president of the Congress will first address a joint press conference, following which they will undertake a road show through Lucknow. It will be the first time that the two young leaders will be seen together after finally cementing their alliance. In fact, after many ups and downs, especially over seat sharing. Meanwhile, Congress's old posters and graffiti alleging misrule in Uttar Pradesh for the past 27 years were painted over subsequent to the finalization of that alliance between the incumbent SP and the Congress. Google CEO Sundar Pichai has criticized President Donald Trump's controversial immigration order targeting people from 7 Muslim-majority countries, saying it will create barriers into bringing great talent to the US. Pichai, in an email to staffers, said the US ban on foreign nationals from 7 Muslim-majority countries will hit at least 187 Google employees. The internet search giant has ordered a recall of over 100 staff overseas. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has also criticized Trump's decision to severely limit immigrants and refugees from certain Muslim-majority countries, saying America is a nation of immigrants and should be proud of the same.
Well, as we understand it, this applies to people from a limited amount of countries, and it does seem with some of these tech companies that there are perhaps hundreds of people affected, but we're not talking about thousands of people. And there is some initial confusion and anger, and now we have lawsuits about this. And I've just heard a little while ago, one of the two Iraqi citizens who had a green card, who was detained on arrival at JFK, who was a resident of the United States, has now been released. So I think in some of these cases, it is a little bit of a confusion with the immigration officers, and because of the outrage and the pressure coming into Washington, that some of these people may be allowed to come into the country who were legally residing here.
He has called for a series of reviews. This is just the beginning. And based on the reviews, you might see in the next 90 days or 120 days again, or within the next 6 months, a series of other security measures which will try to prevent the inflow of radicalized terrorists inside the country. And, a lot of them have been coming. Even after 9/11, a lot of steps were taken, but these haven't stopped. A number of them are from Pakistan who have been coming there. So Pakistan is not in that list yet again. So to say that it's against religion, I don't think so. Not really, because, this is an issue which is not new, which he has not said for the first time. He has been repeating this and asserting his policies for the last several months, for more than a year or so. And they had been opposition to. Those are basically ideological oppositions to him, and those people are going to say that. But he won the election, and he's trying to fulfill what he promised to his electorate.
The success of the Jallikattu protests has sparked off similar protests in other states. Protests were held in Mangaluru demanding the legalizing of the traditional buffalo race event known as Kambala. But the big question remains, will people's will trump the judicial writ yet again? Yes, more.
People gearing up for a procession to demand legalization of buffalo race or Kambala in Bengaluru.
As voices to the demand for Kambala gets louder, so do the drumbeats. And here in Mudbitri, we're going to be seeing a huge procession. This procession is obviously a demand that is being made for Kambala to be revived. The use of instruments, the use of how they tie. This is a very traditional way how they try a buffalo. And this is how it gets ready for a Kambala.
Protesters gathered in thousands with buffaloes and were seen citing the Jallikattu fight to justify their protests.
You all are asking for the Kambala to be revived. What do you think the government will take? Do you think the government will be able to bring back an ordinance?
100% give the permission. I know that Jallikattu give the permission. Okay, that's why Kambala also very old this one.
Thousands marched for 4 kilometers for the Kambala cause, demanded a ban on PETA and declared that they would go to any extent to achieve their goal.
Today it is only our rally. Our government, central government must know all the South Kendra, Karavali peoples are for Kambala. They want Kambala.
Politicians from across the spectrum also seem to have united for the Kambala cause.
This is what is called ground zero of Kambala. This is a track 140 to 160 meters long. This is where the buffaloes actually run. They're made to run at a speed where they clock close to 12 to 13 seconds. Those who do that are winners, but the jockeys, they have a pair of bullocks tied together and they lead them.
See, we are for Kambala. We are not against Kambala.
In Tamil Nadu, for Jallikattu they got the permission. Why not in Karnataka? That is why especially youths of Karnataka, they are demanding for the permission of the Kambala.
First Jallikattu protesters in Tamil Nadu, and now PETA comes under the fire of Kambala backers in Karnataka. The animal rights group has put out a statement defending its stand, saying that banning PETA would be like banning a child rights organization fighting against illegal child trafficking. The battle lines are set, and now the question is, will public pressure overpower judicial writ? With Rohini Swami in Bengaluru, this is Shalini Lobo in Delhi for India Today.
Well, several incidents of rash driving have been reported in the last many years in the NCR region. In another case of reckless driving in Delhi's suburb in Indrapuram, a speeding Audi rammed into an auto, killing the auto driver as well as 3 passengers on the spot. A doctor could be behind this killer crash. The cops are yet to arrest the driver in what is an apparent hit and run. Here's more.
Another speeding luxury car snuffs out 4 innocent lives in the national capital region. An Audi rammed into an auto late Friday night, killing the driver and the 3 passengers on the spot. Among those killed were techie Rinku Yadav and her friends Yajvinder Singh and Vishal Singh, who were in the city for an interview. The driver of the car fled the spot, leaving the 4 to die and devastating several other lives. While a complaint has been registered, the occupants of the Audi, who the police say could have been driving under the influence of alcohol, are still at large.
पुलिस तत्काल मौके पर यहाँ पहुंची तो देखी ऑटो पूरी तरह रोड के किनारे क्षतिग्रस्त था और उसमें 4 लोग ऑटो में थे और चारों की मौके पर कैजुअल्टी हो गई और जनता के सहयोग से और पुलिस वहाँ से बॉडी को ऑटो में से निकाला गया और उनको मोर्चरी तत्काल भिजवाया गया।
किराए पर रह रहे थे और मई 15 से तो ये डॉक्टर आशीष कुमार गोविल इनके फोन से बात की, यहाँ नहीं रह रहे, वृद्ध महिला उनसे जानकारी की तो बताया वो रेंट पर रह रहे थे।
Auto rickshaw here that was rammed into by a speeding Audi last night. The accident took place post midnight between 12 and 12:30. The auto completely smashed here. The 4 traveling in the auto, the driver and the 3 passengers on board died on the spot. A case has been filed at the Indrapuram police station in Ghaziabad and a case registered under sections 304A, 279 and 427 of the Indian Penal Code. The police is saying they're making all efforts to track down the owner of the Audi. They also retrieved alcohol bottles from the car, and so a case of drunk driving has also been registered. However, we do not know whether the owner of the car was behind the wheel, and since the occupants of the car ran away post the accident, their whereabouts are unknown to the police. With camera person Ashwini Kumar, Shalini Lobo for India Today.
All right, with that report, it's time for us to slip into a short break here on India Today. But do stay tuned. We'll continue getting you the latest news and updates.